This meeting is being recorded.
I have Diana McDade here with me, and I'm incredibly excited. She is 59. She lives in San Diego, California, and she has been working with me as her nutritionist for about 31 weeks now, a little less than 8 months. And I'm incredibly proud of what she has accomplished. And she's here to share her results and her experience eating optimally and all the amazing things that she has done for herself and her health. Thank you so much for being here, Diana. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Happy to be here.
So, before we jump into all of the really amazing successes that you have achieved for yourself, I want you to go back to 8 months ago. And if you can recall, how were you feeling physically, emotionally, especially in regards to your health before you reached out to me? What was going on with your health, your weight that you were not happy with at that time?
Well, I remember being hopeless, feeling like I didn't know. I had tried so many different things and nothing was lasting, nothing was giving me sustainable results. And I also had to sacrifice a lot of things that I honestly couldn't see going my whole life without eating. So thus I couldn't see it lasting but mostly I was just hopeless. I was confused about which way to go. There was a lot of confusing, contradictory information out there in the food world. And I was really at a point where I did not know what I was going to do. And I was really sad because I thought if that's the case, then this is just it for me. I'm just going to be at this weight and this health. And that was very sad for me to think that that was it.
So you were really confused and hopeless about weight loss specifically, correct?
Yes. Hmm.
And then you got to a point that you were worried that this was it and you were just going to have to accept where you were with your weight that you didn't like. What specifically about the extra weight didn't you like, and what specifically about your health didn't you like that you wanted to change? What didn't you like about it?
Well, I remember that I had a lot of pain walking up and down stairs, which we have stairs in our home, so that was a daily multiple thing. I also would lose my balance. I was falling a lot, and that was scary because, even if you don't break a bone, you're still limping for a couple of days. I was feeling it, and so I didn't like that I didn't have that sense of control of just even keeping my balance, and so that was a fear of mine. Also, just not feeling good in my own body, not feeling good where I was, and feeling like I had no other, like I did not know where to go. I literally was stuck.
I appreciate your honesty. How long did you feel stuck,
Oh gosh,
you say?
I probably felt that way for a long time, like at least 7, 8 years. And I wasn't as heavy, but it just kind of kept going up and up. And when I reached out to you, I was at the highest I'd ever been, and that was really scary.
So feeling confused, hopeless, and then you got to the point where you felt scared. And then you saw me on Facebook and you decided to sign up to watch the webinar, the 1 hour training. What made you decide to say, I want to talk to her? I'm going to take her up on this offer just to have a conversation. What made you do that?
What made me do that were the hot buttons for me was, what if you could lose weight and eat corn, pasta, rice, bread, and potatoes? And I was like, what? No, those were all you can't have this because it does this. And I was just like, well, I gotta hear this. I gotta
Okay.
hear this. So,
So
uh,
you signed up to chat, and I'm so glad you did. And then I let you know what was possible for you weight loss wise. I did let you know that it would be possible for you to shed pounds sustainably and for you to lose weight and end this cycle that you were in without having to count, without having to measure, without having to weigh, no buying diet products or shots, and you could eat potatoes and rice and corn and whole grain pasta, and those things were actually going to help you. And then you wanted to do it, but if I were, I do, not if, I do remember that first conversation and how you were feeling, but I want you to share with us, what was that like for you to know that you wanted to get my help and you wanted to move forward in the program? But
Um, oh,
what, it was a mixture of feelings. Go ahead. What was that like
oh,
for
it
you?
was. One of the other things was not counting calories because I'm a
Yeah.
who not liking to count. And I remember just thinking I was excited of the possibility, but I was probably more, the fear was really big because I didn't understand.
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't understand. How can you not count and eat those foods and lose weight? And so I was fearful. I was fearful that I wouldn't be successful. Maybe I'd be the one it didn't work on, I mean, all the things that go through your head, I'm the only one. Um, I was fearful just of all of it involved, but I finally just was like, after talking to you, I just was like, Diana, when are you going to choose you? When is this going to be important enough? And this is your life.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't just some business or, you know, this is your life. And I was afraid more of, I think there was a part of me that was, even though all the fear was going to this, I
Mm-hmm.
think the fear was more, what if this doesn't work? Then I'm still here. And I knew I had to do something. You can't give up. You got to still have hope. And I still had enough hope to go, you know what? I'm not going to give up. I'm going to try this. I had a feeling about it.
So you had, which I think is a really important point to share, is that you felt encouraged, you wanted to do it, your heart wanted to move forward, but you were terrified. Like you were really scared, which is a common thing, that it just wouldn't work on you, that maybe there was something like wrong with you, that you would be the one person it didn't work for, right?
That and, a lot of change. I thought the change was going to be huge and I would be in the kitchen a lot, which I don't like to be in there a lot. Um, quick. I like to get my food and get out. So
Mhm.
I was worried about my lifestyle. What's this going to be? I mean, there was that too. So there was a lot. I mean, it all comes at you when you're faced against,
Yeah.
you know.
But what made you step through the fear and choose yourself and something that you were excited about despite the fear? What made you do it for yourself anyway?
Well, I think talking to you and you explaining how it was all going to be, and I also knew that, whenever you're doing, I think sometimes choosing yourself is, if especially if it's not something you do often, it can be scary to make that choice for so many reasons, right? Because we put everything first before us, and I know for me that's what was happening, and just the things of, the worthy part. I don't deserve to do this for myself. And then something just hit and said, well, what are you going to do? Is
Hmm.
this it? You're talking to her. You've got to try. So there was that still resilient person in me that was like, you've got to try. You cannot give up. And
You
so
had that.
that was when I just said, you're going to choose yourself and you're going to do this. And you're going
Great.
to see what happens. Just see what happens.
You chose to encourage yourself and listen to that
Yeah.
versus the fear of what if this doesn't work. And one thing I love to remind people is the only way you will ever 100% guarantee that you stay stuck in a position that you don't like, that you don't want to be in, is if you give up
Right. Right.
and or you go back to stuff that you know doesn't work, because it's natural human behavior to to go back to things that you don't like, that don't work, because they're familiar and at least you know what the experience is going to be like. So for everybody watching this, anytime you do something good for yourself, but you've never done it before, it is by definition going to be a little bit scary because it is the unknown. And one thing I try and tell people, and we're getting so close to sharing with you the amazing success that Diana has had, that now that she, said yes to herself amongst the fear, but oh no, I forget what I was going to say with that. But anytime you do something good for yourself, if you've never done it before, it is going to be scary. But the only way you will ever potentially achieve that thing is if you go through it anyway. And this is what I was going to say. I like to remind people, because it's easier to think about, well, what if it doesn't work? What if I'm the one person it doesn't work for? It's easier to go there, what is it going to be like not eating X, Y, and Z because you don't yet understand how much you're going to love what you do eat instead that helps you. But think about, man, what is it going to be like to actually be down 50 pounds? What is it actually going to be like to be down 75 pounds and stay there and like what I'm eating and have more energy and sleep better and be in less pain? So I hope that is a helpful reminder for our viewer right now, is that think about what will it be like to achieve your goal versus what it'll be like all the fear stuff. So you acted in your best interest for yourself, despite it being scary, despite it being terrifying. And you have now been eating optimally for almost 31 weeks now, which is amazing in and of itself, that it wasn't something that was like you couldn't just do or take anymore after 2 or 4 weeks, right? The fact that it's
It's
been almost
better.
8 months, you're still doing such an amazing job taking care of yourself. What are some of the results that you've achieved eating optimally for yourself? And I want you to brag on yourself right now because you have a lot to be proud of, Ms. Diana.
Well, one of the things that I had heartburn. I had heartburn all the time.
Hmm.
Um, and that went away fairly quickly,
Hmm.
which was nice.
Yeah.
Because that is no fun to go to bed and feel like you need to take some,
Yeah.
medicine to get rid of it or just be dealing with it. So
Hmm.
that was nice to have that go away, and not to say that I have not had heartburn in over 30 weeks is like, what? That was a normal thing for me. That was a constant. Also, I noticed the other day I was taking laundry up the stairs and something else, but I mean, I was probably carrying, I don't know how many, maybe it was only 20 pounds, but it felt like a lot. And I was really struggling going up the stairs. And I did think, wow, not struggling. I mean, I was going up, but I was noticing the weight. And I was like, you used to carry this on just your body. And
Mm,
then if you're carrying something in addition, that was more. And I really just took a notice of that and went, wow, so much better. So much
that,
better now just to have that. I sleep better. I take care of myself better. And I say yes to things for me more,
hmm.
which is a big thing.
Hmm.
Um, and I enjoy what I'm eating.
Beautiful.
Um,
I'm going to pause you for a second. Because if you're comfortable sharing, I know this can be a hard thing for people to say out loud. How much weight have you lost? To give context for our viewer right now.
I've lost 45 pounds.
How do you feel about that?
I feel great. I feel
I
really
feel
great.
great about that for
I
you.
mean, that's just, I haven't felt deprived.
Hmm.
I'm not walking around hungry, wishing I could eat. I
Hmm.
mean, I've never experienced that with anything I've done before. And I've never thought 100% in my head, could you keep eating like this forever? Could you continue this? I've always thought, oh gosh, or once I lose the weight, then I can, bring in those other
You
things.
mean on previous diets you
Yes,
felt that
previous.
way? Yeah.
Yeah. And with this, I don't think that at all, because anything that I really want, I know that I can make that optimally, which
Yeah.
is really nice.
Yeah. That's one
To
thing I
just,
love.
yeah.
I say it to my clients all the time, but it's really important for the viewers to know too, because the fear of am I going to like the food is a really big, concern, which I totally understand. But my job is to make sure that what you're eating you like or love, and that you can either throw it together quickly, go out to eat and get something, prepare something for your family, buy a prepackaged from the grocery store, whatever it is, make a recipe. But if you don't like or love what you're eating, there's no way it's going to be sustainable. I'm only interested in doing things that, one, are sustainable, two, actually work, not just for weight loss, but for a whole lot of things. Like you said, your heartburn went away almost instantly. What happened with your energy once you started to eat optionally as well?
Definitely much better. I used to have that 3 o'clock slump where I'd literally be working and writing something and almost fall asleep. And I was like, what is, I thought something was wrong with me.
Mm-hmm.
I need to go to the doctors because how does this happen? And that does not happen anymore. And if it does, it's because I didn't get enough sleep. Like, I know the
Right.
answer. You got 4 hours of sleep. That's why it's silly.
Uh-huh.
But no, it just doesn't happen. I have energy. I have that energy. Then I'm more apt to go out and do things or take on a project and getting more things done. And yeah, just it's really, I feel probably the best I've felt in years, years. And I feel good about the food that I'm eating. I feel
Yeah.
good about what I'm putting into my body. It's nice. And
I
I'm
love, go ahead.
learning how to cook different things and different foods I hadn't thought of that I'm finding like, oh, that's really good.
I know you know this, but I love the saying, here you learn to love how to foods, you learn to love food that loves you back. So it's like when you eat, not only does it taste good, it fills you up. So you're not hungry after you eat. You're not trying to push the plate away. Like eating is good and you want to eat and it tastes good. But like you also get this added benefit of you know how much it's helping you at
Hmm.
the same time, which so there's just so many benefits. And I remember you getting on a coaching call and telling us about this story about your husband and sleep in the middle of the night. I don't know if you remember that, but do you
Oh,
recall
with the
one way that that you realized that you were sleeping better based on what your husband told you about the middle of the night? Do you remember? I'm looking at your evidence list right now, and I remember you talking about this on a coaching call. It's like my husband didn't have to wake me up in the middle of the night because you'd stop breathing in the middle of the night, right?
yeah, yeah. Yeah, and of course I sleep pretty heavy, so I never knew this was happening. And he's very sensitive to the sounds.
Mhm,
And so if I was not breathing, he knew and would like, hey, that's not good.
mhm.
And so and he hasn't had to do that I'm aware of in a long
Done.
time. So
Yeah.
that's getting much better. That's seceding, which is great because I didn't want to have to wear, a CPAP and do all those things. I was like, I'm hoping this is related to the weight and that will, do that. Take
Yeah,
care of
so
it.
you avoided having to get a CPAP machine. You're doing more, you have more energy, you're doing more projects, you feel proud, you're saying yes to more things and have better boundaries with food and liking what you're eating. What would you say to the person watching this video that felt very confused about how to help themselves, hopeless, depressed, does not want to accept their current health and weight situation, and they're watching this video, maybe they're scared to try something for themselves. What would you say to that person?
I would say number one, don't give up because there's so much information out there and not everything is correct.
Mhm.
And sometimes we think if we see it on internet or TV, it's got to be right. And it isn't always. So the confusion that, I was having was just from a jumble of information and a lot of it not correct. So don't give up on yourself and you've got to put yourself first in the list of to-dos. You just have to, otherwise it's just going to be hard getting everything done and feeling successful. And take the risk. I mean, oftentimes our fear is just the little body inside of us going, oh, there's going to be change. It's going to be hard. What if I don't like it? And, those things may not all be true, but we do hard things every day.
Mhm.
And this was actually much easier than I thought it was going to be.
Mhm.
And my fear was truly unfounded. I mean, I just, when you're living your life a certain way, eating certain foods, and you think you need those foods,
Mhm.
um, and you think you're going to miss them, I honestly don't miss them, and I know if there's something that I want, I can make it optimally, and
Beautiful.
that's empowering. So that's probably what I would say is take the step, say yes to yourself, and trust. Trust
Beautiful.
Trisha and trust what she knows because it works.
Beautiful. Any final parting words that you would like to share before we go?
I have loved everything about this. I love the community that you offer, everybody helping each other. I love the recipes, even though I make some of them and not all the time, but I love it when I do. And
Mhm.
I love that it can be quick and easy and it's fitting in my lifestyle. I love meeting all the different women that are doing it and the lifestyle that they have, how different it is for me and it's working for them. I mean, yeah, it's life changing for sure because it's forever. Like I used to, when I ate before, think, well, when I'm done with this, other program, I'll be able to eat those things. And now I just don't think that way. I go, I'll be able to eat this. I'll be able to eat optimally for the rest of my life and enjoy every meal for the most part, but
Mhm.
enjoy the meals that I sit down to, my choice.
Congratulations, you have successfully made a sustainable lifestyle change for yourself that works,
Yeah.
which means you're going to keep you're not just going to lose it, but you're going to keep the weight off. But this is really just the beginning. So thank you so much for sharing your story with us, Diana. It has been such a pleasure and an honor to be your nutritionist, and I can't wait to watch you continue to do amazing things for yourself.
Yes, I'm excited. I'm excited for the rest.